Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a new segment here on my channel called Commentator Talk. Here I will address all the questions I have yet to answer from both the fans and other questions you guys may have in general about the profession of sports commentary. Now, I'm not a professional by any means at all, but with some of my experience, I can at least give you some of the information that I have and kind of give you an insight on some of the behind the scenes on a smaller scale broadcast. Now, on this episode, I'm going to address one of the questions. Actually, it's a pretty common question after we exited softball season this year. It was a question on if I really had a signature line or any commentary that I borrowed, like a star line from any professionals in the field. So we'll start off with the first sport on the season. Usually it's either volleyball or football. For volleyball, I really didn't have any signature lines for the sport. I know there's a couple good lines that I had, a couple of my favorite ones. My exact favorite one, when Alexia Hurtado against New Mexico Highlands was able to get a nice pancake dig. I remember that one. That was a tremendous game and really a great moment for that commentary line. So I was glad that I could get that out there on the broadcast. I'd been working on that for about a week or two, just waiting for the right moment, and the right moment happened, and it rolled flawlessly off the tongue, and ended up getting a good response from some of the people that were watching the game, and mentioned something to me later on after the game had concluded. For football, I don't know when this line started, but I do have a signature line for it, and I'm pretty sure it started this year. After every Eagle touchdown, I would always be like, "Fire off the cannon," something along those lines, and I think that kind of fell into play and was a bit of a signature line, and kind of stuck with me, especially this season, in particular. Going back and watching some game film, which you'll see next, was South Dakota School of Mines was in town to face off the Eagles, and I don't know if I did it on the first touchdown, as it was a Kobe Whipple interception for a pick six. It was within South Dakota Mines' own 5-yard line, so I mean a very key moment of the game and a very exciting moment. So sometimes, those exciting moments, you're not able to deliver that signature line, and you just kind of go with what the moment gives you, and I think that's kind of what I did. But the preceding touchdowns, the one that put the Eagles up 14-3 and then eventually 21-3, both of those touchdowns, I think, had that signature line. So let's take a look at the clip when the Eagles were taking on South Dakota Mines at home.
Quickly. They'll get the snap off at 1. Pass goes to Cox over the middle. Cox still on his feet, stumbles, dives into the end zone for a touchdown. Fire off the cannons as Chadron State scores another touchdown. Hamilton in at quarterback. He will toss it to Thomas. Thomas routes back, finds a hole, and he's in there for the score. Touchdown, Chadron State. Fire off the cannon.
So the next sports that we would have would be basketball in the wintertime, and I just actually started this past year, my last year with CSC Live, started with wrestling. I never really had any signature lines in either of the two sports. For basketball, mainly, I think the more exciting calls were the slam dunks, and then the occasional deep threes in both men's and women's games. So didn't really have a signature line for when those events happened. It kind of just whatever came to me in the moment for that. And then wrestling, I was kind of learning some terminology and kind of learning a little bit more about the sport as I was commentating it. I think only had 3 matches or so that were at home when I did start broadcasting those, start commentating on those. Then that takes us into the final sport of the year, of the academic year, being softball. Now, softball is one of those unique sports, much like baseball, that everybody has their signature line. And as a big baseball fan myself, I've listened to tons of different games, whether it be my favorite teams or teams that my favorite teams are playing, and listen to the away broadcast and kind of just get a feel for everybody's type of broadcasting. You know, everybody has their way about saying things and such, and then have their own signature lines, of course. A couple that come to mind. One with Drew Goodman. His signature line is, "You won't see that for long." You know, something like that. So I tried to come up with some myself, and kind of ended up implementing them this year, the 2024 softball season. So, and I try to implement some of the players' names in with the call too. There's two really prime examples that happened this season. Brady Lockmer, I know on one of her home runs, actually a couple actually, now that I think back a little bit, called them Brady bombs. Obviously that's reserved for ones that are rather lengthy home runs and not like the wall scrapers and such like that. So I remember, I can't remember what team we were playing, but Lockmer launched one right down the line, down left field, and it was just the perfect thing. I know I think I was rolling through an advertisement for the RMAC conference and kind of just got interrupted and was able to work in that Brady bomb line. And then Mackenzie Kroll, crushing tons of home runs, so kind of had a little fun with that, and ended up with the nickname of K-Mac, and as we all know, she holds the school record for most home runs in a career, being 40. That was announced back on April 11th of this year. So a lot of times with her, it was, just working in that nickname of K-Mac on the home runs, as you'll see in the following clips after this.
CSC Live is a member of the RMAC Network. Visit ShadronState.tv to watch broadcast and RMACSports.org for Rocky Mountain Athletic Conference information. As Lockmer, a Brady bomb to left field. That is way out of here, and put the run on the board. As a solo homer for Brady Lockmer, and the Eagles starting to work into that deficit. A no-doubter for Lockmer, a Brady bomb. The 1-2 pitch. Lifted high in deep center field. It's got a chance. It will sail on out of here. K-Mac coming through. Mackenzie Kroll, a solo home run to center field. And the Eagles now up 3-0 on the Cougars. So Kroll will stand in for another 3-2 pitch. The delivery from Eastburn, swung on and belted center field. It's gone. 2 at-bats, 2 home runs for K-Mac. And that puts the Eagles back on top, 6-4. And Zimmerman launches this one left center field, way back there. See you later.
Home run, Eagles.
2-run homer for Lauren Zimmerman, the second of the ball game.
This, and then I know on one occasion in particular that I could remember, I know there's a couple I'm sure that I can't remember, but the one that I remember that I borrowed from a professional commentator, it's the Nationals commentator Bob Carpenter, and his line is "See you later" when it's a long home run. So if you look up Bob Carpenter on YouTube, I'm sure you can find a couple of clips of him with his signature line. I know one, I think a player by the name of Wilson Ramos hit one as they were actually talking about his signature line. So everybody has their own unique line, and it's always cool to hear everybody deliver it, and usually those moments everybody does it flawlessly, and I was thankful I could do that a couple of times. And I know there's some other lines I wanted to work in, but I just wanted to give a nod to some of the professionals in the field. They may never know, because being in the middle of a smaller area, more rural area, the coverage doesn't get out that far, except for maybe to the family of the athletes, if they come from long distance. Like, we have a couple of athletes from Hawaii, so that's some of the longer viewerships I know that we have had over at least the course of my 2 seasons that I've covered sports with CSC Live. So see you later is definitely a line that I have worked in. So to go back to the top of the show with the question of if I have a signature line or not, I mean, you can say I do for football. That's an original one, and then just kind of a series of different lines for softball, with whoever may be hitting a home run, or a tremendous catch, or even a strikeout. If a pitcher is doing a really good job and having a couple of strikeouts, well, maybe there might be a signature line that's snuck in there. But everybody really remembers the home run calls. So yeah, those are pretty much my signature lines to answer that question for you guys. And yeah, if you have any other questions, feel free to submit them in the comments or message me personally. Take care, guys.